In this video, I want to talk about this topic of how to visualize your life so that you remember it. Now, what do I mean by this? It's this idea that visualization isn't about creating something new. Instead, it's about remembering what is already yours, what already exists, just on a different frequency and at a different vibration than where you currently are. So this isn't about imagining to try to force reality to change. Instead, it's tapping into that memory of what you want, what you desire. And I say as a memory because we're going to think about it the same way that you would something that happened to you in the past, like a true memory that you have. But we're going to use the same senses and the same outlook in order to manifest what we want by treating it in this way, something normal, something expected, as a memory. And before we get started, if you haven't already, sign up for my free newsletter below and join our growing community. And if you sign up right now, you'll get one of my guided meditations absolutely for free. So with that, let's get started. So first of all, what exactly is this concept of remembering? Neville Goddard and so many other spiritual teachers and mystics talked about how our desire already exists, but it's unseen. So what that means is that possibility that you want already exists on a different frequency. And you, in the current moment, are stuck on, let's say, a lower frequency. Maybe you have some limitations, some limiting beliefs, whatever. But that potential is already there. One idea that I really love is the idea of like an artist, like a block of marble. If you take a huge block of marble, the statue is already within that block. I forget where I read this, but it's a really cool concept. If you're an amazing artist, you can see the form, and it's about taking away what no longer needs to be there in order to, in a sense, like create that beautiful statue from that block of marble. So it's not so much about creating it, it already exists. It's about removing those things that can't be there for that statue to exist. It's a cool concept. And there's some parallels to this because it's not so much about us creating something as it is in the same way, just sort of removing the layers and operating on a different level so that these things manifest naturally into our lives. So again, why do you have to treat your manifestation as like a memory? Or why do you have to remember something that didn't happen? Well, let me break this down for you. When we think of memories, when we think of things that happen to us, they have a certain emotional weight, right? Whenever you think of a memory, good or bad, it has a really strong emotional resonance that we carry with us. And again, it can be really good, it can be really bad, but we have this feeling of just knowing that it happened because we were there. It's our memory. When you visualize a memory, those thoughts and feelings, those emotions come back along with the visual. So, think of a really great moment from your childhood. The memory is there and it's stored with that emotion. You remember, you can close your eyes and remember where you were, who was there, all five senses, the emotions that you felt, everything. It comes back in an instant. So you're able to really quickly transport yourself back in time and embody the state that you were in. And the interesting thing here is the subconscious doesn't know the difference between something imagined or something real. So in the same way that we remember something that happened to us, if we apply these same techniques to essentially, remember something that we want to manifest in our lives, then we're on the right track because we begin to speak the language of the subconscious, which is emotion. And if I ask you to sit and just close your eyes and think of something amazing that happened to you, maybe what was one of the best things that happened to you this year? Sit, close your eyes, you can remember it. You can remember it just like a movie. Who was there, how you felt, what you thought, and those emotions rise back up. And if I ask you to do the same thing with something that you want to manifest, money, a relationship, success, whatever, and you apply those same principles, you're going to be really far along on that process of manifestation because you're tapping into that raw power of the emotion and your imagination, which is really the driver of all of this. So how do you actually apply this to manifest what you want? Again, take the same concept of remembering a memory, something that happened to you, and apply it to what you want to manifest in your life. So just relax, sit down or lay down and relax. And just close your eyes and imagine the scene of what you want to desire. Whether that's you being in a new relationship, you having a certain amount of money in the bank, you taking a certain trip around the world you've always wanted to take, whatever it is. Just close your eyes and imagine you're in that state right now and you're feeling the emotions of having achieved that outcome, whatever it may be. And imagine the scene the same way you would a memory. It's a memory. It's something that already happened. It's in the past. So the same way you remember an old birthday party from when you were a kid, you're remembering this. Oh, remember when I finally got that job or finally got that promotion or that amount of money, whatever. And involve all of your senses. What do you see? What do you smell? What do you taste? What do you hear? Everything. And really immerse yourself in that scene. And the best thing that I found here, because we're going to repeat this later at a very specific moment in time, but the best thing I found is create a really short scene. So this memory that we've constructed, create something very short, maybe 20, 30 seconds, very vivid, using all those senses like we talked about. And one thing that really helps, that brings it to the next level, is have someone in that scene, a close friend or family member, someone you're very close to, have them saying to you, wow, I'm so happy for you, that kind of thing. So you're in this scene, you're imagining it, you have all the emotions of having achieved what you want, just like it's a memory because it happened in the past. And then now add that there's someone close to you in this scene, in this 20, 30 second clip, saying, oh, Jeff, in my case, Jeff, I'm so proud of you, so happy for you, those kinds of things. So basically what this practice does, and I like this idea of looking at it like a memory, is that it helps us shift our identity. So visualizing in this way, it sort of anchors you in to that new emotional state, that new baseline. And instead of wanting, again, it's already yours. It's now a memory. It's in the past. And again, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference, whether it's in the present moment, the past, whatever moment in time. You feeling those emotions, there's just one moment to the subconscious. So the fact that you're feeling those emotions, that you have it, and you're thinking of it, oh yeah, that already happened in the past, then it's real, it happened, as far as the subconscious is concerned, and that's what we want. Again, instead of wanting something and chasing after it, we're remembering it. Oh, remember when I finally accomplished what I wanted, I finally got that job, money, success, whatever. And this shift, it closes the gap between where you are and what you want. The other thing I like about this concept of, remembering what you want to create, it does a couple things. One is it helps you to visualize. It helps you to use the right tools with the emotion and your imagination to create the scene. That's really important. And the emotion is key. But also, it prevents you from overcomplicating it. A lot of times in this world of manifestation, it gets a little too complex, a little too complicated, all these different theories and this and that. What I would recommend is just do this right before you go to bed. That's incredibly powerful. And Neville Goddard and many others have talked about this, but this state right before you're about to go to sleep, you're lying in bed, go through this scene, as many times as you can before you fall asleep, 20, 30 seconds, and just keep replaying that clip in your head. As you drift off, as your brain waves start to change, you start to go more into your subconscious. Just keep replaying it. It's a really simple thing. And thinking of things in this way, it just helps you to focus on the most important aspect of it. And another thing I like about this really simple technique of thinking of it as a memory is it takes these things that we want off a pedestal. I think we're all guilty of, whatever it is that we want, we tend to put it way up here. Like, oh, maybe one day I'll be lucky enough, I will have worked hard enough and I'll finally achieve that amazing thing. I'll finally have the money, the relationship, the success, whatever. And we create this gap. And it's like, oh, what, maybe one day. And what we're doing by thinking of what we want as a memory, putting it past tense, again, to the subconscious, there's no difference. But more importantly to us, it's taking things off a pedestal and saying, I already have it. It already, not only is it already here, but it already happened a while ago. And that helps shrink that gap. Because again, when we're chasing after something, we're creating distance. But if we tell ourselves repeatedly, day after day, And especially in that key moment before we drift off to sleep, oh yeah, like I already have that. It's been in my life now for a while. We normalize it. We make it normal, we make it expected. So again, the way to practice this, super simple. Throughout the day, tap into that emotion and remind yourself you already have this thing. It's already in your life, you've already had it for a while. And most important, before you go to bed, try this tonight. Start doing this every night before you go to bed. If you want, you can even just take an index card and just write it down and just sort of read through it like it's a movie script. What's happening in 20, 30 seconds. And before you go to bed, just repeat this. It'll slowly start to sink into the subconscious. So it's a really simple technique, but I love this idea of looking at it as a memory, because that helps us do all those things I talked about, shrink the distance, take these things that we want off a pedestal, normalize them, and also the really key thing of learning to harness our imagination and our emotions, which are really the tools that we have to manifest in the 3D. So let me know in the comments below what you think of this practice and how you're implementing it in your life. And I would love to hear your stories. So start it tonight and try it for a few nights. Let me know in the comments what your experience is like. And also, if you haven't already, sign up for my newsletter today. The links are in the pinned comment and description below. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.